Once upon a time, there lived a wise man who was the head of a small village. People loved and respected him and often came seeking advice from him. His son, however, was lazy and wasted his time sleeping and spending it with friends. No amount of advice or threats made any difference to him. He would not change at all. The years passed, and with time faded the youth of the wise man. As he grew older, he began to worry about his son's future. He recognized the need to give something to his son so he can take care of himself and his family to be. So one day he called his son to his room and said, "My son, you are no more a kid now. You must learn to take responsibilities and understand life. I want you to find the real purpose of your life. And when you find it, remember it always, and you will lead a life full of happiness and joy." Then he handed his son a bag, and when the son opened the bag, he was surprised to see 4 pairs of clothes, one for each season. There were also some raw food, grains, lentils, little money, and a map. The father said, "Son, I want you to go find a treasure. Here's a map of the place where the treasure is hidden. Go and find it." The son loved this idea. The next day, he eagerly set out on the journey to find the treasure. He had to cross borders, forests, plateaus, and mountains. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Along the way, he met a lot of people. Some helped him with food and shelter, but some also tried to rob and cheat him. Slowly the seasons changed, and so did the landscapes. Finally, after a long year, he reached his destination. It was a cliff. The map showed the treasure being placed below the cliff under the tree. Upon spotting the tree, he began to dig the ground. He searched and searched, but found nothing. He spent 2 days looking and digging for the treasure. By the 3rd day, he was exhausted and decided to leave. Disappointed over his father's lie, he headed back to his home. On his way back, he experienced the same changing landscapes and seasons. This time, however, he halted to enjoy the blooming flowers in the spring and the dancing birds in monsoon. He stayed in places only to watch the sun set in paradise or to enjoy pleasant summer evenings. Since the supplies he carried were over by then, he learned to hunt and make arrangements for his meals. He also learned how to protect himself from the wild animals. He met the same people who had helped him earlier. Only this time, he realized how nice they were to an ordinary passerby who had nothing to offer them in return. When he reached home, he realized it had been 2 years since he had left the place. He walked straight into his father's room and said, "Father, I'm here." The father immediately jumped to his feet and hugged his son. "So how was your journey, my son? Did you find the treasure?" he asked. "The journey was fascinating, father, but forgive me, for I was unable to find the treasure. Maybe somebody took it before I reached." He surprised himself by what he just said. He wasn't angry at his father. Instead, he was asking for forgiveness. "There was never any treasure there, my son," the father said smilingly. "But why did you send me to find it then?" the son asked, curious. I will surely tell you why. But first, you tell me, how was your journey to the place? Did you enjoy it? Of course not, Father. I had no time. I was worried someone else would find the treasure before I did. I was in a hurry to reach the cliff. But I did enjoy the journey on my way back home. I made many friends and witnessed miracles every day. I learned so many different skills and the art of survival. There was so much I learned that it made me forget the pain of not finding the treasure. Exactly, my son. You have found the purpose of life, said the father to his son, who was now looking confused. It may be good to lead a life with an aim, the father continued. But when you remain too focused on it, you miss out the real treasures of life. For there is no greater purpose in life than to just experience it and grow with it every single day. The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear to newer and richer experience. Eleanor Roosevelt.